Crossing the Pacific sounded exciting, but eventually the excitement fades and this just becomes life. Repairs, night watches, settling into routines. Laundry still needs drying, movies still get watched, and somehow life just keeps moving forward in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So we've been out here for 4 days. We've traveled 723 nautical miles. We're making good time. Our average speed is 7.5 knots. Right now we're going about 8.5, 9 knots, and even are surfing down some of these waves at 10 or 12 knots. But the sea state is super confused. The wind and the current are basically going in opposite directions, which make it for an uncomfortable ride. So if it's going to be uncomfortable, at least we're making good time. By day 4, we were finally starting to settle into the crossing. 700 miles behind us, and thousands more still ahead. Every day offshore started looking almost the same. Watches, sail adjustments, trying to rest while the boat never stopped moving. Time at sea feels strange. The days blur together, but somehow also feel longer.
Oh.
What surprised us most was how quickly normal life started finding its way back on board. Movies. Big full dinner, chicken tiki masala, white rice, and broccoli. Little rolly. Donuts. And water. I need more ice. Dinner. Quiet routines. Even dishes still had to get done. Somewhere in the middle of the Pacific, this just became life. Out here, little moments start to matter more. Wow, that's a monster. Yeah. What are you going to catch with that?
Water.
Oh, damn.
Won't throw it overboard at the same time. Yeah. Hold up.
We need a break. A fish on the line becomes excitement.
Are you still having a hard time?
It's not hard, it's a lot.
And every break in the routine feels big. Mom is good.
No, I like it.
Yay!
So this is our 6th day at sea. We've traveled over 1,100 nautical miles. We have been cruising right along. I mean, our average speed has been 7.5 knots. We've sailed consistently at 9 knots. We've been surfing down these waves around 10 to 13 knots. So we've been making really good time. But the sea state's been a little bit uncomfortable. It's been a bit of a washing machine. Most of the wind waves have been hitting us on our quarter beam. So it's a lot of this, which makes it hard to maneuver around the boat and get comfortable, but at least we're making good time. So that's the Galapagos where we started. This is where we are, and we're going way over here to the Marquesas. The conditions offshore never really stay the same. Every day we were adjusting something, trying to keep moving west comfortably. By day 6, we had crossed over 1,100 miles, but the Pacific still felt endless. The sea state had turned into what sailors call a washing machine, and the movement never really stopped. Eventually, the ocean stops feeling like something you're crossing and becomes your entire world. So it's been pretty smooth sailing for us up until this morning when the sea state got a little bit rough. I had the jib out and was on watch. The wind picked back up, so I woke Connor up to put up the code 55, and we were having problems with it unfurling and furling, and then we noticed that the whole sail looks like it's sliding slowly up the torsion cable, so we opted to refurl the sail and take it down until we could retension the tack and the head of the sail back on the torsion cable like it's supposed to. Connor's just checking the furler to make sure that it's operating correctly. We've been heading south to try to get into the trade winds that will carry us west to the Marquesas. And right now we're kind of over continuing to go south if this is what the sea state's going to be like. So we are going to put the furler back on and put up the code 65 because we don't want to fly the 55 until we know that everything is as it should be. Sailing offshore is constant adjustment.
Ready? Yeah.
By day 8, we had already made 14 sail changes. Every change in wind angle, every shift in sea state, meant trying to find the balance between speed and comfort. And sometimes you have to try it before realizing it doesn't work. So we went through all that rigmarole to put up the spinnaker, and as soon as it was up, we lost all our wind. Like our wind went down to 5 or 6 knots, and we were going 3.84 knots, so we quickly doused the spinnaker, put back up the full main, and put back up the code 65, and now we're clocking along again at 8.5 knots, and the wind, we changed our wind angle to go a little bit further south, and we have about 13-14 knots of true wind speed right now, and the wind is basically on our beam. The sea state was just so uncomfortable earlier that we were thinking if we pivoted a little bit more west and put the spinnaker up, then we would have a more comfortable ride. But it was comfortable, we just weren't going very fast, and I like to get to places as quickly as we can. So we decided to bear back to the south and deal with the uncomfortableness. Eventually, we stopped trying to force perfect conditions and started adapting to whatever the Pacific gave us. So my watch starts at 2 a.m. and it goes till 6 in the morning. And about 5 in the morning, we were getting 18 knots of apparent wind pretty consistently. So we reefed in the code 65, and then we decided that we were going to put a reef in the main before we flew the jib. I went out to the front of the boat to put in the reef, at which time Connor normally adjusts the topping lift, tightens all the reef lines and so forth. But he had just woken up and was a little bit sleepy. I was sleepy as well, and then realized that we had made a mistake because the reef line wasn't tight. So Connor went to do that. I was adjusting the topping lift and forgot to close the clutch. And so anyhow, the boom fell down a little bit and we ripped our lazy jack lines and our sail bag, and I'm hoping that we can take the port side off and fix it today. It's hard sailing for this many days straight with an interrupted sleep cycle, and we've been having kind of rolly seas and uncertain winds, cross current, and it's made for a little bit more of a challenging sail. Those are our jack lines, and you can see our sail bag is ripped. I think I can fix that. I have a sail right on board. And you can see where the boom fell down onto the top of our boat. Out here, little problems matter. Not because they're emergencies, but because there's nowhere to stop.
Never before, I'll always be right.
You know, and put it back
Sure.
If you lose your way,
Simple repairs offshore stop being simple. Everything moves. Everything takes longer. And eventually, repairs just become part of daily life. I sewed it back together this morning, which is pretty amazing considering I am not a seamstress. And out here, you kind of got to make do with whatever materials you have to make it work, because I can't just run to the sewing shop. But I think we made a good repair. We're stringing it back up. Connor's tying up the lazy jacks right now, and we'll see how she looks.
there'll come a time in all the words on
You can see I used some basing tape and sewed a straight stitch, and then on the inside I sewed a patch. Not beautiful, but it will make it more sturdy.
when the ride seems strong. I'll be the hand.
The next day, we noticed our first reefing line had chafed through its outer sheathing. So Connor had to cut the line shorter, milk the protective sheath back down over the Dyneema core, and retie everything back to the boom.
Chains that won't set you free. Give me the way to your world. Lay it on me.
Eventually, you stop fighting the rhythm of it. The movement, the sail changes, the repairs,
Let me go.
the unpredictability.
Anytime.
It all just becomes part of life offshore.
Give me your darkest hour. Give me your deepest fear. Just give me a call. And I'll be here. Give me the ball and chains that won't set you free. Give me the way to your world. Lay it on me. Oh, lay it on me. Oh, lay it on me. Just lay it on me.
How are we doing now for speed?
5.96 knots. Okay, since it's calm out, but it's a good time to make some water. So we're going to turn on the water maker. Okay, so we just got the ASEM up. We're going about 5.5, 6 knots, which is a bit slower than we were going before, but the ride has greatly improved. We are sailing now downwind, heading a little bit north towards the Marquesas. Somewhere along the way, the Pacific stopped feeling intimidating. Not because it got easier, but because we slowly stopped fighting the rhythm of it. Out here, little moments start to matter more. Yip, yip, yip! Dolphins! A fish on the line, dolphins in the distance, anything that breaks the rhythm of the open ocean. Somewhere out here, the rushing stopped. No errands, no distractions. No rushing from one thing to the next. Just the ocean, the wind, and the people beside us. And somehow, that started feeling like enough.